earlier today, I had the chance to sit down with Intel's Chief Financial Officer, Stacy Smith. Now, he became Intel's CFO just as the economy was beginning to collapse at the end of 2007, and he says he's happy to have survived 2 years of economic chaos.
I'll tell you, it's a lot more fun being CFO this quarter than it was being CFO at the end of 2007. What we're seeing, I think, is actually how indispensable computing technology has become in people's lives. We saw the bottoming of the market back in the first quarter, and we've seen it strengthening since then, and it strengthened nicely this last quarter. And I think it really shows in the consumers' lives how indispensable technology has become. It's how they conduct their social networks and consume content and all of that.
Got to have your notebook, got to have your netbook.
Absolutely.
That's more important than a lot of other things nowadays.
Yes, and then in the emerging markets, I think it's even more indispensable, because in the emerging markets, having access to computer technology is really the difference between being on a path to be part of the knowledge economy and not. And so for them, it's very much a socioeconomic differentiator. And we saw strength in the consumer segment in the US in Q3. We also saw strength in places like China, some of the other emerging markets.
All right, so let's talk about what goes into some of those notebooks and netbooks, because the challenge always has been, lower power consumption, lower heat, lower voltage. How are you doing on making it all smaller and thinner?
I think we've done a great job, if I do say so myself. I mean, we have historically used the benefit of Moore's Law to drive performance and features up. A few years back, we made the decision to actually bifurcate our product line. So we have products that are doing that, but we also have a product line called Atom that is bringing power and costs down. And that's enabling these devices like netbooks, where you're seeing these small, untethered internet consumption devices. And then on the other side, with our core product line, we're actually refreshing our entire product line right now, and we're bringing a bunch of new features to the market. So we're playing on both sides of that.
All right, let's move from the consumer and notebooks, netbooks, talk about what's going on in the server and the client business. Has the consumer business really kind of offset a decline or a softness that you've seen coming from businesses?
Yeah, in the enterprise marketplace, you have to break it in half, at least from our business's standpoint. We've seen the server business being relatively strong, and I don't think that's because of a lot of budget being spent, but I think it's because we brought out some new products that bring such a compelling return on investment to IT managers that even in a limited budget scenario, they're spending money on refreshing their server base. And with our current generation servers, the math is you can take one of our new servers and replace 9 older generation servers that are sitting in the environment, because it's so powerful. And when you're constrained on space, and when you're constrained in terms of the cost of the power that's being consumed in these big data centers, that's a compelling return. And so even in a downturn, we're seeing IT managers investing in that. On the other side, which is refreshing the PCs that exist inside an enterprise, we're seeing some anecdotal signs that people are starting the evaluation cycle, but we're not seeing that being a big driver of our business in Q3. I don't expect it in Q4. We're hopeful that refresh could happen sometime in 2010.
Talk a little bit about gross margins. Are you still seeing that expansion that we saw in the last quarter?
Yeah, our costs are improving, our top line is improving, and the combination of that has led to a good result in gross margin. We have a forecast out for Q4 that's a 62% gross margin. That's among the highest, it's kind of among the highest readings that we tend to see in our business, in our history.
And want to give any other guidance for EPS or sales for the fourth quarter at all? Tell us what's going on.
Not other than what we said a month ago. We're expecting over $10 billion of sales, over 60% gross margin. That really says that there's two things that are happening. The market is starting to strengthen, and our execution is very good, both on the product side and the cost side.
Talk a little bit about the strategy. It's been described almost as a Tick-Tock world at Intel, where you basically are moving to introduce like new architectures and new manufacturing processes, but in sort of alternative years. Tell us about it.
Yeah, that really is the driving engine of our company, and it's the cadence at which we bring innovation out to the marketplace. And so the key for us there is the process technology introductions, and we tend to be a year to 2 years ahead of the rest of the industry. This is Moore's Law at work, and when we bring out a new process technology, it allows us to improve the performance, bring down the cost, bring down the power, and then that enables us to bring out a series of devices that take advantage of that hopefully spur innovation in the marketplace. And so you're seeing it today. We're just at the cusp of manufacturing of 32 nanometer. We've got a new series of products that are coming out that'll improve the performance, some new features. We'll also start bringing the power down in our Atom product line, and that really is what drives innovation in the PC industry.
Talk a little bit about mobile computing, because that's an area where you're looking to really try to make a big move, and that fits into the whole low voltage, low power consumption items. Talk about mobile.
Yeah, you're talking about smartphones as
Correct.
opposed to notebook computers. Yeah, we're now on our second generation product on existing process technology, which is 45 nanometer process technology. We're getting great response from the customers. You know, they like the performance that we provide them there. We've got a couple of design wins that are interesting. And then as we get to 32 nanometer, we get to take the next step function down in terms of the power of the device, the power efficiency of the device. In our strategy in this space is actually pretty simple. It's if we can match the competitive architectures in terms of the battery life, but provide a lot more performance than they can provide because of our process technology leadership, we think that we can win in the market.
Talk about competition just coming from the marketplace. So we've all heard in the news various reports having to do with, let's say, galleon hedge fund, insider trading, people giving out information from various companies. Have you enacted any new corporate governance rules or any tightening of the rules to kind of prevent anything from leaking from Intel? Because the chip industry has always been rife with people wanting to get their hands on information.
You know, let me start by saying, you know, our hope is that these accusations, you know, that involve a lot of people, but including a mid-level executive at Intel, turn out to not be true. You know, that's our hope for them and for their families. If they are true, you know, it's against company policy. It's a serious crime. There's no excuse for it. And our policy is crystal clear in this space. We have policies against it. We train against it. You know, unfortunately, we have somebody that's caught up in this.
That was Chief Financial Officer of Intel, Stacy Smith, speaking earlier today.